Yeah, baby. Yeah. The Mac is back with another video. Hello, the initiated. My name is Marcus Junikala, and today is a big day because we're looking at Gravity 2 by Heavyocity. I guess holy crap is really one way of putting it. If you know me at all, you know I'm a huge Heavyocity fan. I've been using Gravity 1 a lot in quite a bit of my music, and I'm certainly using it a lot on this soundtrack for this video game called Breachway. And looks like I'm going to be using Gravity 2 for that one as well. Probably going to be jumping in there and changing some stuff up. Can't help myself. Would probably jump into the press release real quick to sort of try and give you a summary of what this is. Probably some of you, a lot of you know Gravity 1. Some of you don't, so maybe there's some utility in going through this. So it's been nearly 8 years since Gravity 1. Basically described as a scoring toolkit. Combines conventional orchestration and advanced digital synthesis with innovative audio processing. That sounds about right. So this one has over 1,000 distinct sound sources. I'm reading from my laptop here, as you can probably see. More than 2,300 samples. Sources are mentioned like Junkyard Mayhem, Mechanical Noises, bowed strings on trash cans, obscure radio signals, and a lot of analog synths. This one is around 9 gigs, and I think as I was installing it, it was probably around 9.5, 9.6. So that's a good size. Like that's a really good size for a big library. It's a very tight package because a lot of the time, and I know many composers relate to this. A lot of libraries are absolutely massive in size, and sometimes that size is justified, but a lot of the time it isn't. You get a lot of mics, a lot of mic positions, etc., that don't really add a lot of value there. Obviously, that's subjective as a call, so I don't intend to shit on anybody. But the point here is that's a very commendable size to get this at sub 10 gigs, based on what I know is in Gravity 1, and you know these are pretty big libraries, so that's cool. In terms of what's in there, they say tonal rhythmic pedals, thrilling transitions and risers, evocative textures, and then you have impacts and striking signature stings. So in terms of what I've been using Gravity 1 for the most part, is the risers and the hits. They actually break it down very nicely there in the menus, but a lot of the time I end up using the whooshes alone, because if you have a very dense arrangement, so you have, let's say, drums and basses, etc., a lot of the low end on these risers can be excessive and you want to get it out. So it's very nice that you can actually break down the sounds into their individual components, so you can use whatever element you want. But that's, for the most part, what I've been using Gravity 1 for. I like a lot of the atmosphere and texture stuff there. I think Heavyocity built upon that knowledge a lot better. So in Mosaic pads. So once a viewer asked me whether they would go for like if they went for cinematic textures and pads and things like that, would you go for Gravity 1 or Mosaic pads? Obviously, again, this is a subjective call, but I did recommend Mosaic pads for that stuff. It just felt like more refined version of Gravity 1. Obviously, sounds are quite different, so it's not a one-to-one fair comparison, but it wouldn't be as, you know, it's not a surprise that it's more refined, at least in my estimation, in that aspect, because it's far newer and they have all this experience. So, but really interesting in seeing what they sound like in this one, because that might change, I suspect, quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, it's like they say, they describe it as this kind of scoring toolkit, and I find that to be very, very descriptive, because it's just such a big package of things. It can be hard to describe what Gravity 1 was or is. But I think if you've been writing, especially any kind of hybrid kind of orchestral music, you find yourself wanting for something like this. So they have more than 600 meticulously crafted snapshot presets. That's really cool. Let's see if there's anything else. Well, they call it not merely a scoring toolkit. Sonic transformation where the possibilities are limitless. Musical expression as a fresh creative reawakening. So that's like their own view and take on what that is. We'll see how that comes to life once we start pushing buttons. In terms of pricing, regular pricing here seems to be $449. So not exactly a cheap thing, but I mean, what you're looking at here, by the way, this is a completely blind demo, so you know, I don't actually know what's in there yet. But you know, comparing to Gravity 1, if you're actually using these to write music, the quality is, the scope of the library and the quality of it is so vast that in that context, the price easily becomes very justifiable if you actually, you know, use it a lot to make stuff. And especially there aren't many things out there that are even comparable to Gravity 1. First of all, I think the riser, hit, sting, this kind of category of transitioning effects in an orchestral cinematic context, that's still a tremendously underexplored category in my estimation, and I'd be very happy to have more of those done in particular styles, because there just aren't that many out there that can compete at this level. So that's still one thing to consider. But they have an intro pricing. So Gravity 2 goes for $349. And if you own Gravity 1 or any Gravity pack, that's pretty cool, you get an additional $50 off with a serial number. And this offer ends on November 3rd. So something to think about. That's a good percentage off. So, you know, I give praise to that choice. And then you need Kontakt 7. So no Kontakt 6. And you need the full version or the free Kontakt 7 player. It's kind of interestingly written, but sure. And this is going to be out, I suspect, today when this demo comes out. So 24th of October 2023. Cool. I think that covers the stuff that we get from the press kit. I was kind of looking at that in hopes that they would sort of touch a bit more on what's actually in here, but they don't. So this is going to be a discovery process. Let me take this laptop back here and try and remedy this dry mouth. That's good. Let's go. So, looking at taking myself to Studio One. Oh yeah, I should obviously mention that Heavyocity did send me this copy. So first of all, thank you to Heavyocity for doing that. That being said, I'm not being paid to make this demo. I haven't been asked to say anything one way or the other, nor would I ever do that. So all opinions, both in good and bad, are my own. And I think that kind of probably covers the transparency part here. Also, you'll only be hearing Gravity 2 in action. No added effects, nothing. I only have a limiter on my master bus to make the level for this video decent. That being said, we have to adjust the limiter as we move along, because some sounds are going to be quieter and some are going to be louder. So if you see me play with the mouse, that's what I'm doing. And also if you hear clipping, that's most likely the limiter as we are adjusting the level so that it doesn't blow up. If it isn't the limiter, I'll let you know, and I'll probably let you know in any case anyway. Cool, I think that covers the basics. In terms of what we're going to do today, I'm just going to try and go through as many presets as possible, as I usually do, just to give you an idea of what this sounds like straight, right out of the box. And we'll see how far we get. I did have one additional point I wanted to mention, but maybe that will come back to me. And if we want to tweak something under the hood, we're gonna do that. But yeah, just to show what it's like right out of the box. And like I said, yes, this is the point. This is a blind demo. Haven't played this at all. So what you see is my authentic reaction. So just to cover my pretty face here, to show you how this is laid out. So what we have open here is the Gravity 2 Designer. And I think we're going to start off with this because it probably best demonstrates what the sound of this is as a whole. So if we struggle to get very far with this demo, then at least we have been able to demonstrate that. But also you have something called Menu XL, and then you have Menu. So I don't know what the difference is, but I'm assuming that XL is like a pumped up, hyped up, big ass version of the Menu. So probably Menu is so okay, let's close that. Let's open this. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't, as far as I can tell what the difference is, but I'm assuming it either means this is more processed and bigger sounding, or it's done in a bigger sounding style. So this would be like for epic, huge, scoring stuff. And the Menu would be either like a more easygoing, less processed, more easygoing version, or a less processed version. But we are starting off with the Designer. Look at that there on the left. That's a very nice image. And we're just gonna pretty much jump in. So here, opening the menu, you have 8 different folders. And you got Cue Creators, Rhythmic Beds, Tonal Textures, Atonal Textures, Modal Textures, Stings, Transitions, Impacts. So what I'm seeing right here out of the gate is that this is a vastly improved structure, and it seems like they've learned something from making Symphonic Destruction, because I think that was really nicely laid out, really nicely structured, and in Gravity 1 it's not as well laid out. It can be sort of more convoluted to find what you're looking for. Not that that's not a fair statement, because it's not hard to find, but sometimes categorizing things based on sort of use cases more instead of the style of it can be useful. But in short, I'm really happy to see how this is this seems to be laid out, because when I'm going for something, I oftentimes want to start with the style of it, the sound of it. So this is a lot of stuff. We have subfolders within folders. So let's start with Cue Creators and go to Rhythmic Moods. And we're gonna have to just oh my lord, there is a Cthulhu Dream preset. We're gonna have to play that. Yeah, we're gonna have to discriminate and just pick and choose, because there's just so much to go through that we can't possibly do all of this today. So I'm going to go based on pretty much preset names, which is what true composers do. Yeah, let's start doing that. So cue creators, rhythmic moods, and this preset is called All Is Lost. And as mentioned, let us get a level going first. Okay, so this part is actually pitched. So the bottom section here, the purple, I guess, is kind of like a rhythmic bass element. That's cool. I mean, again, super mature, very impactful, very moody. I mean, I just want to do all of these. That's the worst part of doing these demos. You just want to play absolutely everything, but I can't be here for 8 hours, nor would I be able to actually speak for that long. This one is called Caged Beast. Cool. These are actually, I'm happy to hear that these are quite, at least so, I mean, we played 2 presets, but very controlled. To say subtle, that wouldn't be fair, but these are, you know, always coming at you right out of the gate with a massive like punch in the face, which is what a lot of Heavyocity sounds do, and there's a place and time for that, but sometimes you want that kind of other side, that kind of other exploration of a different type of sound. And these are maximally atmospheric, maximally impactful. Again, everything like very clearly comes at you and maximally paints an emotion, but my ears aren't getting bombarded. And like I've said many times over many of these demos, every time that's the case, it's a absolute brilliant sign of great productional ability and, you know, sound selection and also mixing, because we get maximal impact without taking up all the headroom in our mixes. So I'm actually getting very excited, even more than we were at the start of this video, because this seems super promising. But let's play a bit more before we get ahead of ourselves. Cthulhu's Dream. Oh, I mean, do something Lovecraftian and I'm in. So. much brighter and livelier than I expected Cthulhu's Dreams to sound like. That's a very like very Heavyocity sounding thing. I can clearly hear what they've learned from like Mosaic Pluck and these kind of things, integrating these in here, and it's just so exciting because even a company like Heavyocity that has been doing such amazing stuff for such a long time, it just keeps getting better. So like, where are they going to be in 5 or 10 years? Who knows? But it's really, really, really cool. Let's do Dark Dusk. That is so cool. I mean, beautifully combined sounds. You have this tension and movement down there, a bit of grit, and then this very, sparse, reverberant, beautiful, simple synth sound. This is so good because a lot of that time with some of the previous Heavyocity stuff, I find that I want to pull back some of the edge. Like they sound stellar, but in a context of a full mix, some of the elements might get a bit too, aggressive. So you want to pull that back. And this one so far demonstrates absolutely brilliant maturity and understanding of that in the sort of mixing productional sense, because these are so impactful, so mature. They paint a beautiful soundscape, but they're not like, trying to punch you in the face. So this is super exciting. They're just they hold together in such a beautiful way. I just want to play all of this, all of it. This just enforces what I just said. Super nice. Yeah, very, very, very cool. Growing the edge. Doing it. I'm doing the walk away. I'm walking away. That is, that is stellar. Stellar stuff. It is just such beautifully everything, production, mixing, creatively. This sound this synth top end is just super creative. I'm 100% know I'm gonna write a track for this soundtrack with this. This is just so cool. Apologies for my timing here. It seems to be a bit sensitive on that end, and it's not my playing. Well, no, it is my playing. Yeah, I mean, that's just such a cool thing. Wow. Yep. Into the unknown. So again, looking at the bottom here, we have these different sections which represent different sounds being active in those regions. And when you have these overlapping colors, it's like here we have this pink with the red, then you have a bit of that. Well, actually, if we look here, and well, you can't see my mouse because of the recording software, but you got like yellow. We actually have 3 layers, so that explains the color crossovers. Actually, red and pink are the crossover areas. So you got this yellow, orange, and then blue, and those colors mixing represent the overlapping areas. Just something that's a very nice thing to have, and I'd say has to be a pretty standard thing by now with libraries. Just makes it so much faster to see what you're doing. And obviously, if you're running like a Native Instruments NKS keyboard with the colors, that's obviously nice as well. I do want to mention, like, this is a vast step forward from Gravity 1. Like, in terms of how they put this together, because with Gravity, it's not Gravity 1. It's not so much like a hyper. How should I describe this? Like, this is giving you these kind of different soundscapes and sound design environments, and just like, hey, do this, play this, and you can actually write like a track out of with that. And that's very much what I absolutely love about Symphonic Destruction, because that's really nicely put together from the perspective of being a composer, finding absolutely fantastic, amazing sounds, and then being inspired by them, actually writing music with that. And with Gravity, I found that I was rather pulling individual elements out of it to put into my tracks. But with Gravity 2 seems to be like, this is designed to be like a very, it's so much more like instantly playable, and it has these pre-designed sounds and soundscapes you can just jump in and start playing. Whereas Gravity 1 was really more like a toolkit. Like, okay, I need this tool, I take it out from there, and then you combine it as you want. But this one is just out of the box, instantly inspiring you to write just music. So I thought that would be an important thing to say, and it does really align with what they said in the press kit, although it was obviously very like subjective colored description of what this is. But now I begin to see what they mean by that, because it's not just like, it doesn't feel like just a toolkit in the same way Gravity 1 did, where you pull these individual elements. This is hyper inspiring. But let's go into the unknown. Interesting combination of things. You can't really stay hyper tonal with that, but look behind you. very nice. That low end hits again beautifully. Maximal impact, minimal size taking, just a beautiful sound. This really reminds me a lot about of the symphonic destruction sound, which is a very, very positive thing in my books. Methodical plotting. Very cool. Yeah, these are going to be super useful, again, because they're not like right up in your face, and then you would have to kind of pull back to make it fit contexts that aren't just about like hyper aggressiveness. Let's do one more from this. This is Stealth Forces. Sometimes the steps are like coming, you know, one bar afterwards. So yeah, to me it sounds like a sequencer or an ARP. An arpeggiator is kind of demanding the notes to land in a certain way, and if they don't, then you have to, or if they don't, then it kind of overlaps to the next point. In terms of where that is coming from, I don't know here. I'm guessing this page, which is the sequencer. And we also have the macro sequencer, although I don't think this has anything to do here in terms of the note triggering. But yeah, but I mean, just let's take a moment to look at this beautiful interface. So here you go macro page, you got mixer page, you have macro sequencer and LFO page, and then performance page, source, browser, and master effects. Really beautifully laid out. If you want to see which is which, you have to look here in the bottom left corner where it actually says what it is. So maybe that could be added, but then again, it would be more text and clutter. So maybe this is better indeed. But yeah, I mean, super stellar interface, very nice looking. All right, I think we did rhythmic moods. Let's do a few ambient moods. Let's go by name. Coming Alive. So kind of very controlled, or like a moving pad type of a thing. Let's do Hollow Wastelands. Getting a bit of limiter clipping there. Hard to find a good balance. That's a super dynamic sound, which is fundamentally good. Just need to find what plays well with the limiter, but some of it is going to be very quiet, some of it very loud. Obviously, it depends on what the music you're writing, whether it's appropriate or not. So yeah, they're kind of like moving pads, sound like to me. Ocean floor. Clipping there at the end. Beautiful cinematic, kind of gently brumming low end, kind of like brass synth hybrid mix thing. Beautiful. Also love this kind of textural plucking thing. Super nice. It is responding to velocity there, so usually I probably prefer to, well, I mean, I guess it really depends on the sound, but you have to be like, the velocity affects a lot in terms of the, obviously not only the sound level you're triggering, but the actual intensity of the texture that is coming out of there. So something to be mindful of. I'm going to try and play a bit better for you to get like a more better balance, I guess. Let's do Soul Searcher. Really crappy idea from my part, but beautiful. Kind of like a piano pluckish sound. Then you have kind of like a E-bow or something kind of bowing there in the background. Again, this is super controlled. Like it's in a weird way, and that's a positive thing. Like subtle, maximally impactful, but it's not like going super hard, which means this is like super versatile, because a lot of the time with Heavyocity libraries, they tend to go into into that sort of more aggressive, hard-hitting edge, which it does perfectly. But then you can struggle to find different diversity out of the libraries, and they've been getting better and better about this. And obviously with the engine, you can go in there, you can pull things back like compression and processing, and that does a lot. But this, to me, seems like it's gone to a whole different level. This is so, you can go into so many different directions from here. So that's very, very fantastic. Let's do the last of them. And again, this just proves my point, or fortifies it. I mean, that's super nice, super atmospheric, very maximally atmospheric. But, you know, it's just so well balanced. What was I going to say? Like, I'm really hearing a lot of the symphonic destruction influences, and they've taking that and brought it to the kind of the Gravity format. I'm so impressed by this because it's so inspiring to work with. It is so it just gives you ideas, and you can really with this explore so much faster and so much easier. Like I said, with Gravity 1, it was like a selection of individual toolkits, but like all the movement here, all the ideas, all the flexibility here is just so nice. Okay, so we got something like tonal accents. So let's check out what those are. Let's do beacon color. These seem like they could be loud, so I pull back the limiter a bit. That's stunning. I love this. This is coming together so nicely because, like, with symphonic destruction, it was really at times you're playing it and it's hard to believe that it exists. Like, it's so well designed and put together. And I was expecting Gravity 2 to kind of be like, I don't like just to be honest, I don't know what I was expecting. This is such a drastic jump to a next level, like taking all the lessons they've learned from the previous products and making this, like, this is so inspiring and so like diverse and comprehensive that it's really cool. I really like these this whatever the tonal accent folder. I mean, I've played one preset, so but this I understand what they mean by that. These can be super cool at like starting a cue idea or finding certain kind of focal points in your track. It's limiter clipping. Yeah, I mean, beautiful. Really good for, like, let's say you want to paint a setting for the beginning of a track. You just want to have these kind of soundscapey things that are still, you know, tonal. That's really cool. I actually like this categorization. Let's do one more from here. Limits of Twilight. Really cool. Again, super inspiring. Very nice creative ideas there. You can go in there and tweak it to your liking. We got something called Enders. So this is a different folder in QQ Creators. Let's do... Oh, I guess Enders is kind of like ending a track. Let's do Force Approach. Cool. So kind of a, not kind of a, it's a riser, but I guess it's designed to be sort of maybe more atmospheric and specifically for endings. Okay, this one is Planetary Sideswiper. Yeah, I mean, super massive sounding, very cinematic. One more. Well, actually, no, let's move on. Because it seems like these ones are sort of... Oh, okay, so they do have sort of... Yeah, like a menu-ish thing here. So we should probably look at that. So you got reverses and impacts, 3 different selections of those. So seems like a lot. Reverses and subs, 2 of those, and then risers and impacts, 2 of those. Let's do risers and impacts 1. So we got 3 zones up here, and then probably some kind of a key switch thing. Maybe this is pitch. So you got some sort of impacts here in the yellow, then I guess different textures for the 2. Let me just check the key here. Yep. Yeah, so the red one gives you a pitch control there. And obviously then you can tune them in Kontakt as well. But this is a better starting point for sure. I would only use Kontakt tuning for like if no other option was available. Not that it sounds bad, but it's just a better structure that way. Next up we have something called Rhythmic Beds. So in here we have 6 different folders. We've got straight lows, straight highs, straight combos, triple lows, triple highs, triple combos. So again, fantastic folder structuring here, because you can go for what you're looking for. You've got lows and highs. That's really good because oftentimes you do know what you need. So let's do straight combos. Do a couple from here. Listen to the distortion, the harmonics on the top end on that one. It's so perfectly like growly and kind of resonant, yes, but like it sounds like a bit of like rattling or something, but that's beautifully balanced. That's very nice. Love this synth as well. Wasn't expecting to play anything in major here. But yeah, super cool. It is very specific about timing. My buffer is, I think, 256 right now. So, but obviously you can play your part better than I do, or then you can just jump in the MIDI editor. But I'm guessing it's doing this because it's obviously using something here in the automation sequencing art department. So it has to discriminate, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, something I need to tweak on my end. This is sometimes the case with some of the Heavyocity things. I think, was it Avant? The sequencer ARP thing was kind of similar. But yeah, hopefully this is tolerable enough in terms of playing. Let's do Cybernetic Heart. Not the key I wanted to go into, but yeah, cool sound. Still a couple of more from here. Location compromised. Beautiful balance. I mean, the idea here wasn't great what I played, but just the impact of that is perfectly balanced. Not too much, not too little. Very nice low sound there. And also how it pairs with this kind of cycling synth, more like a piercing sound. That's very good. Mystic Mountain Song. Yeah, very cool, very refined. Let's do the depths of the mind. Getting a bit of clipping there. I like that this has a kind of a broader scope of sounds, a lot more sort of positive, brighter things as well, because Gravity 1 was very, very focused on the dark stuff. So this is really cool. It not only like technically goes to new territory, but also sound-wise this is far broader. That's really cool. Yeah, really cool to have these in here, and the way they've categorized this is really good, so first of all the timing that you want to go for, and then high-lows or combos, etc. That's super useful. Next up, tonal textures. You got delicate and then you have edgy. Let's do a few delicates. Let's do Abandoned Star. Can't quite do a... How much was that? Way more than an octave. Not with these hands. Beautiful sound. I love that kind of textural plucking, granular-ish thing. Just super immersive. Just a tad bit more reverb on that. Just go crazy as a kind of a ambient spacey thing. Anomalous materials. Let's do Calm Before the Storm. my trademark cluster chord. Super nice. I mean, some of these presets are just like bang on, perfect. I wouldn't have to jump in there at all to tweak things. Here I would, one of the things with the velocity is great that it gives you control, obviously, of the things you want to pull out from there, because it does texturally change what it triggers. And that is one of the things that brings a lot of liveliness and movement here into the sound. And so if you don't play it perfectly, you're not going to get the thing that you want in there. So I would have to jump in to the velocity editor and actually tweak that. Now, that's not a big issue. Some of these presets just do it so well that I feel like I have exact control of the textures that I would like to be pulling out of there. But with this, for example, I don't get that. So either I would need to jump in there and tweak how the velocity behaves, which is usually my number one thing to do, because it's faster than, just jumping into the MIDI velocity editor. I'd much rather just play the performance perfectly. But this is configured in such a way that it would require a bit too much of actual, skill for me. So, but yeah, super great sounding, that one. Beautiful, kind of a spacey type of thing. Fond memories. Clipping. Let's pull back a bit. Still limiter clipping. Very, very cool. First of all, I love the dynamic range there, even though it makes this demo harder to create, but super immersive, very atmosphere creating. Again, loving the plucking, textural stuff. Very cool. This is just so refined. Let's do Nomadic Journey. Cool. Synthonic perfection. Let's pull back a bit. Don't want to clip the limiter. nice puffy, warm sound. I feel like I would want to tweak the movement of that a bit more, make it a bit more lively, a bit more sort of responsive. But a beautiful starting point. I wonder whether for some of these presets they went for like a better middle ground, because some of them seem more sort of committed to a certain direction, especially the stuff in the cue creator stuff. So I wonder whether that is the case. This seems sort of less committed, more or less. Okay, so Tonal Textures Edgy folder. Let's do Cosmic Exploration. Here the same thing, beautiful sound, but I'm feeling it's a bit too, I want more movement out of that. So it seems kind of a bit too solid, a bit too blocky. I would want to have kind of a bigger swing and movement there. So I wonder whether they kind of left it for these certain ones in a sort of a less, I guess, committed to a direction state. Digital Dunescapes. Very cool. Point of no return. Very nice. I love how the fluctuating, that could be a number of things, could be like just like a tremolo, but I love how they play off one another there. It's a very, very cool thing. Super inspiring. Like you just like begin to hear cues in your head, you begin to hear music. It's always a good sign in my books. That's how I love to be inspired by sounds. So just picking up something and like, ooh, I immediately know what I want to do with that. Let's do Scorch Memories. Sounds like a cool name. Cool. Again there, I'd want to bake in some more movement there. It's a bit too static there. Do something more that was done in the Cue Creators folder, but I'd be interested in learning their sort of kind of the approach and the reasoning behind that. Let's do one more from here. Unsettling transmission. Yeah, super cool. I mean, that immediately builds a setting, and then you can go off from there. Very cool. Tonal Textures, definitely less sort of movement altogether, or sort of what is the word that I'm looking for here? I guess that would have to be good enough for now. Definitely less than in the Q creator, and also the rhythmic beds here. So you know, something to think about. Atonal Textures. Let's do a couple from here. This is Broken Transmission. Okay, so for me, these can be absolutely amazing when you're building like more ambient stuff and you want a starting point. You want like a drone. Because if they're atonal, obviously doing tonality, doing harmony, it's going to be tougher. Not impossible, depends on the sound entirely. And sometimes it can actually create really super cool stuff. But really good for these kind of ambient music drone starting points. That low end is perfect on that. It's exactly like kind of like a creaking, rumbling ship. That's absolutely fantastic. Next up, let's do Inside Machinations. Yeah, very, very cool. Nascent Universe. That is stellar imaging. I can pinpoint like here where things are moving, and it's not only my one point source monitors. It's like not many things can do that. That's stellar. And also the sense of the low end is just so good, so spot on. Like you get this feeling of rumbling, but it's not like it's not overwhelming. It's just the right amount. Very, 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 very refined. Let's do Scanning the Void. Yeah, so for example there, I would jump in and start automating a lot more. That's a bit too static for my taste, but I can absolutely see the sense of wanting to give you a best starting position and then having the ease of jumping in there and you know, automating stuff and tweaking it yourself. The only argument against that would be that it has limited potential in terms of the inspiration that it gives. So if it was more committed to a certain flow, a certain automation, then that would put me in a certain place. And from that position, it's, to me, equally, if not easier, to know what to do with it. Because once you have a fixed point, it's easy to know where you want to go. But if you have this sort of more generalized sound, then it's can be harder if you're not immediately put into a specific place with it. Knowing where you want to go can be harder. So just my 2 cents on that. And I know many of you are going to 100% disagree with that, and that's fine. That's actually really, really good that we want to do different things and we have different taste. That's what leads to different art, and that's a good thing. Let's do Welcome to Mars. Again, beautiful. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anything so specifically coming from one direction. That's beautiful imaging. Really cool sound. I would love to, you know, jump in there and tweak some of the things to, you know, go with what I would want to be after, but that's beautiful. All right, we got Modal Textures. Which are then defined by minor and major. Yep. So let's do All the Time Lost. I wonder if it's I am lost all the time or all the time I've lost. I guess we'll see. Cool, so just pitch based. If you want the same thing, go with the same octave. These are kind of cool, kind of interesting. Remind me of some of the stuff from scoring guitars, which I actually like a lot. These will vary in terms of like how much actual like committed decisions are actually baked in there. I tend to prefer the ones that are as static as possible, just like one note, because then I can build my own harmony, obviously. But these can be, I mean, we all, again, we write differently. I don't tend to prefer to be locked in that much. But again, sometimes, like, if you want something, you have like a section where something like that can fit perfectly in, just like for a moment or whatever else. It's a really good utility to have in the toolbox. Let's do Birth of Consciousness. So like something like this would be more down my alley because it is sort of more focused in terms of what it's doing. I'll actually try and see how far I could push that. Yeah, this is actually super cool. So it's not committed, like obviously they have those intervals going in there, but they are beautifully kind of delicate and sparse. So once I actually start imposing some harmony in there, you begin to get these beautiful explorations of very delicate explorations of harmony in there. Really like that. Don't know how many of these are like that, but if I'm using stuff like this, this can be actually super, super inspiring. So I tend to prefer the sort of more subtle elements here. Cool, kind of the same thing. I don't like a lot of the glittery stuff overall. Not a criticism to this specifically. Like I just don't go for those kind of sounds. But yeah, again, that in its character is it's so subtle and less defined that I can begin to impose some harmony on there. I want to do Forsaken Humanity. Yeah, I really like this. Again, you can sort of do the same thing and you can explore what you can push and what you can't, but it's subtle and delicate enough that you can actually do harmony with it. And you can explore those different, they're kind of definitely in the tonal realm, but some of the notes are so subtle that you're wondering like, oh, did I actually hear a seventh in there? Or whatever else. Yeah, and I like that. That's a really cool way to compose harmony for me. Personally love that. So these are probably going to be far more useful for me than what I expected. So I've got a stings folder, not like the guy from the band or the solo artist. I don't know why I said the band first, but let's do Complexions of Angst. So, stings. So probably going to get pretty loud, so I'm going to pull back the limiter. That's cool. And then in the red zone, we have the pitch control again, which is really super useful. Depths of the Mind. I really like these because these sort of, to me, go into a similar category as the, let's try and, well, which one was that? Kind of like tonal accents. These are definitely more sting-like, but because they have they build a soundscape, they build an atmosphere, they give you a certain kind of inspirational energy, if you will. So that's really, really cool. Let's do Gravitational Pull. So these aren't just like one effect, like a synth or a weird hit happening, and that's super, super nice. Yeah, super cool. And again, I want to stylistically bring up the point of the musical diversity here is far greater than what a lot of the Heavyocity products have. Well, that's not a fair statement, but especially Gravity 1 is like in a very specific style, and there's not much variance from that center point. Here, it's a far broader scope. These will go together with a lot kind of a bigger set of music again. Nice to see a hybrid atonal is split to high and low, and hybrid tonal as well. Let's do hybrid tonal, let's do low. So again, I should probably demonstrate how the pitch stuff works. So, I mean, you could play, so basically you're triggering the note here if you want the same sound, and then you just change the pitch from here. So it might take some, a few moments to wrap your head around that, because you tend to play based on pitch and not like you're just triggering that note from the purple area here and the pitch here. But this, I love this system. This is what they have in Symphonic Destruction, which is fantastic. It's a fantastic way of executing on this. So really happy to have this here. Let's do organic tonal. I actually want to hear the organic, how organic it really gets here. That's stellar sound design. How it pans, the imaging here is really nice, and the sounds are super evocative. And you can hear the click lift off there on the left side. That's super nice detail. So still pretty, refined, not as organic as I probably would have expected. Definitely, you can hear the organicness of the source sound. So that's probably what they mean by that. Then we have a folder for transitions. So you got swells and reverses. Let's do a couple from there. So, okay, so it's not both combined. It's either reverses or swells, as you maybe can see here in the menu. I don't know how the recording software will render that, but in future times, this is reverses. Okay, these are super good, super immersive. That kind of sound, very, very beautifully balanced. Not that I'm surprised, because Heavyocity have been doing this pretty much bang on for a long time as well. Okay, really cool to have these in stacked atonal high, stacked atonal low, stacked tonal high. This is really useful as a layout. Makes it very fast for you as a composer to find what you're looking for. Let's do reverses, stacked tonal low. Yeah, this is super cool. I'm so excited about the fact that just the mixing of these has been taken to the next level. I mean, they were already staggeringly good, but you know, when you work a lot with certain tools, especially from like a specific company, and this happens with every company, it's not just Heavyocity, but you begin to, as you write more and more music with them, you begin to see the changes in the mixes, or rather the point. I'm starting to lose my ability to speak here, but yeah, you begin to see how certain things begin to stack up, and maybe where some of the mix weaknesses are in terms of when you use these sounds in a full mix and combine them with other things. And I'm hearing exactly what I wanted to hear more of in Gravity 2. So it's just becoming like more and more refined. And I actually, in my current standing as a engineer myself, I can't see the frontier even past this. I mean, this is so good. So Swells Forsaken Nanobots. Ooh, these are a really cool concept, because it's not kind of like a riser or build up. It's more like a wave, well, swell. These are really good. I'm actually looking for something like this quite often, and then you end up combining certain things to do it, but this is very nice to have. Kind of like atmospheric transitioning momentum builder things. That's very nice. Kind of again reminds me of some of the tonal accents, but kind of a more subtle version of that. So risers, this is cool. So these have been split into two things: 2-bar risers and then 4-bar risers. So let's do abduction here. Not like actually, but play the sounds. Okay, so that kind of changes the height, I guess, would be the of the note. That's actually, again, super useful, because now that I think of it, it's kind of like a pitch control, but it's not the. I think it's more than that. I don't have the brain power right now to break that down in my head, but let's do stutter raid. That's nice. Then let's do 4-bar CPU PP. Cool. And these are good because you can hear that they don't have a lot of that low end element, which makes them great for transitions, because oftentimes you do want to actually, you know, get that low end from the drum that is coming in, or the low strings or whatever else, or brass. Then you have a folder called impacts, and this has gravity impacts, nightmare impacts, and tonal impacts. So let's do something from gravity impacts 1. We do indeed have 3 of these. Let's pull back the limiter. right. Yeah, I really dig the fact that these are separated like this, because then I don't need to look for like where's the hyper low end coming from and then split that up. Let's do Nightmare Impacts 3. That's super meaty. Yeah. Very, very solid. Let's do something from Tonal Impacts 4. Very good. So well balanced. That's it's so good, because so often like these risers and transitional things can be too much, and then you need to go in there and pull stuff a bit back, get the low end out of there, get some of the brightness out of there. These are sounds to me like they totally have grasped that and have made something that's super ready to go for that. Cool. Okay, we did the designer. So if I'm sort of remembering this correct, comparing to the way symphonic destruction is laid out, I think the designer there basically takes all the content, all the elements, and puts them together in these sort of pre-designed presets or patches or whatever these are called. Still don't know the difference. That's pretty embarrassing. And that's why it's called a designer. And then you can go in here and tweak things and design them even further yourself. But, so, following that logic, if we close this, if I do menu XL, then maybe this is like a less refined, defined, committed version of that. So here you would actually have more of individual elements in the way that Gravity 1 is pretty much laid out. So again, that's super cool that they have taken the elements and made that designer. I've in my estimation, it's the absolute strongest point and strong point of the Heavyocity products. So in here you got category menus, and then you have combo menus. So these combos, I would presume, combine these source sounds. But here, category menus, so you have straight and triplet, atonal, tonal, organic. So again, really well laid out. Let's do rhythmic pads, straight menu. And here we have a lot of real estate down there on the keyboard bed. That's super fun. This rekindles my memory. I love the rhythmic pedals from the Vocalese series. They're just stunning good and super inspiring. So I'm really getting excited about this layout because it's doing the same thing. Get these brilliantly designed individual lines, and then you can jump in there and combine them as you wish. And again, here down in the red, we have the pitch selection here. So you get the idea. And this is a tremendous thing to have because you can actually write the harmonies or the melodies you want to have. So really great. So all of these green ones here, as far as I understand, yeah, are individual loops, individual patterns. I think I recognize that one from the designer, so I think I'm correct in my assessment. Maybe Heavyocity, let me know. These sound so good. I love this layout. Yeah. That pitch shift is so good sounding, so smooth. That sounds so smooth. It's a pleasure truly to use. It's so good. I don't know if that's like a Kontakt 7 upgrade thing, or maybe it's the inside this engine heart. I don't know. I'd love to know. But that's so good. So again, I couldn't pick up what the difference is between the menu XL and menu. Maybe it's just a size thing, or maybe it's a sound based thing, like less processed. But I'm guessing maybe XL is like a big boy version. This is so good. I love this layout. Because with the Vocally series, it's so good, and in this format, it's really inspiring as well. I wonder if I have the ability to choose just one of these and do it in a pitched way, straight up. Obviously, that is happening in the designer patches, so I'm pretty sure you can do that. But yeah, that's really good. All right, so category menus. Let's do textures, tonal, and modal. I'm guessing, yeah, this is taking the material there from that we bumped into largely in the designer. And this is a great way of going in there and locating specifically what it is you want to use and then start building from that place, if the designer setup and layout isn't doing that for you. Cool, yeah. But I mean, we've already demonstrated a lot of the sounds in here, so maybe this is better to just keep as this sort of general overview of what it is, because we've been running for a long time. But hey, it's a big boy library, so combo menus. So I wonder whether this loads multiple instances or whether it's just like internally combining. Yes, internally. So let's see what this is about. So Atonal Nightmares 01. And again, this is menu XL and combo menu. I see. So it seems to be combining different types of elements into one patch, into one preset, whereas here you choose the type based on category, obviously, as it states, and then you go from there. So yeah, that's actually, again, an additional level of usability and choice, which is cool. And this can absolutely be inspiring in its own way. Super cool. But yeah, you get different layers, combine them to do what it is that you want. And let me load up the menu non-XL version, whatever that may be. And let's try and decipher what the difference is. I couldn't find that information in the press kit or anywhere else since there is no website yet, because this is a day before release. So okay, so layout is different. Rhythmic pedals. Oh, this is nice. So yeah, very good. This is even more of what I was getting excited about, because you got different categories. So you got rhythmic pedals, straight high and low, triplet high and low, single pedals. Oh, this is really good, because it splits it down even further. Textures. So I guess I still don't know what XL is referring to. Maybe it's like maybe this is like less combined, less put together, like simpler loops and simpler elements. But I guess we just play a bit of this and try and figure it out. Now let's do rhythmic pedals straight low. Yeah, same thing here. Following that same pattern. Let's do something from the single pedals. Let's do low. So, let's actually see. Let's do railguns. Okay, so this is what I was kind of looking for in the back of my head. Because now you get this one sound, and it's pitched and you can play it. So this is really cool. Let's do single pedals high. Look for something fun in here. And let's do piano impediment. Limiter clipping, we're going to pull this down a bit more because we're doing so many layers here. Yeah, I mean, Coldplay, if you're out there listening, it just hit me up. That'll be the next big track. I love this. This is super cool. I suspect I'm going to be spending a lot of time here in this these menus, because I get that specific control of the sound that I want to go for, specific splits of the highs or lows. This is super good. I'm so happy this is here, because it kind of expands and reveals all the individual components, and then I can dig in there if the designer stuff it doesn't happen to have the elements that I'm going for. Very nice. And then I can just go crazy with the automations, and very cool. Let's check out something from these other folders. So we're really pressed on time, but I mean, this is, we got to do what we got to do. Let's do single textures tonal and look for something cool here. Space explorers. Yeah, this whole system is brilliantly designed, because you do get, these are, you know, essentially one note loops that are shifting and moving around, and it's a brilliant way of designing this instrument. And on top of that, I can do my macro sequencing, bring this to life in a very different way. Very cool. Do one other from here. This one is Lost at Sea. Yeah, super good. And this is so great because it gives you control. What more can you ask for? Then you got stings in guitar effects menu, hybrid, atonal, hybrid. Yeah, so high, low. Yeah, very cool. I don't think we're gonna go through these even more, because I think we demonstrated their quality in the designer menus. But again, this kind of breaks it down even further, gives you more and more control. Let's load up this designer image here to wrap this up. So long ass video, but there's a lot of stuff in here, and again, as you saw, we did just pick things from here and there, but I did want to go through the entire scope of this, just to, first of all, learn and understand what it is like for myself, because I'm going to be using this quite a bit, but also to give you an idea of this package here. So, to wrap it up, super impressed. I don't think this is like, even if we compare this to Gravity 1, this isn't like even the next step up. This is like a different level of the game. Like this is a different league. That's the kind of jump we're talking about here. And if you look at something like Symphonic Destruction here, which is an absolutely fantastic library. They took a lot of the lessons learned from there, a lot of the designer elements, a lot of the way it's structured, and they brought it here, which I don't know why I didn't expect that, but but they did it, and it made this just like this has become like, this is to me like a stupidly good offer. It's a stupidly good product. Like that's the the thing that I had in my mind the first time I played Symphonic Destruction. I was like, how is this real? And I'm not adding any bullshit into that statement. That I was like, this is so good. It seems like unrealistic. It's so inspiring, so well produced and mixed and put together. Just everything about it is like, this is just spot on, and you can just take off and start writing music. And I guess with Gravity One, because it is kind of more like a set of individual tools, like it's like opening a toolkit and going like, yeah, I want that, and you pull it out and you do something with it. Gravity 2 is more like, I should come up with a good description here, but it's like taking the whole toolkit and going and actually building something with it. That's probably a piss poor analogy here, but the point is, this is so musically inspiring. And like I touched on, their description was of this being more than a sonic or a kind of a compositional toolkit or sound designing toolkit. This really is that. It is the inspiration in terms of the musical ideas that you instantly can start pulling from this is really, really good. And I did not expect that, because I had the Gravity 1 expectation here. I expected, better sounds and more polish and more sounds for sure. But I wasn't expecting them to take this designer approach and beginning to blend some of the more pitched and melodic and the harmony elements, bake them in here, because this is far more now than just a textural transitioning sting type of a toolkit with some pedals or some pad stuff in there, which was basically what Gravity 1 is. And that, even that alone, is already a tremendous thing to be bringing into one product. But this takes that and breathes new creativity and life and soul into it. And this has become not only those things, but like a compositionally, musically creative instrument of its own. It's hard to describe how I think about this, but it does feel like a instrument designer of its own, like an instrument of it, like a cinematic sound instrument, I guess. But I'm going to stop talking before I just start making even less sense than I've made so far. But absolutely fantastic. Again, I love the designer here. It's so well put together, and as mentioned many times, so instantly musically inspiring, and that's what I want as a composer. We'll be just writing a lot of music with this, just like with Symphonic Destruction, and I didn't expect that. So yeah, this is far more playable in a harmony, melody, musical sense than what I expected, and it does that absolutely fantastically. And I also like how, well, first of all, we had the improvement in the mixing department, but also a more diverse set of sounds, more diverse tone and tint, so that it works with more music, and stylistically more diverse. So this is going to work with many more styles and genres than what Gravity 1 perhaps has the potential for. Again, here the thing is, like, depending on how creative you are, there's no limits to any tool. Yeah, this definitely has more instantaneous scope and breadth in that department. So that's fantastic. And yeah, as in a usual fashion, stings, transitions, these impacts are just what you'd expect. Just fantastic. And having this combined with Gravity 1 really gives you so much scope and such a huge amount of sounds to be using. And also the textures, the kind of evolving droney, paddy things. Very happy that they're in there, and they've become more alive due to this this engine and this all the automation you can do. So that's super, super cool. And we haven't even touched the actual application side of this engine, taking sounds and beginning to automate things and tweak stuff on your own, which really expands the potential and the possibility far beyond the presets and what we touched here. But I think that's enough rambling here, because I'm barely making sense at this point anymore. We've been going for what, more like more than almost 2.5 hours. Jeez. So yeah, but I mean, what else can I do? A strong recommendation. This blew me away, honestly. It was far more than what I expected, and so much more music is going to come out of this than what I expected. I expected that fantastic textural transitioning riser impact designer thing, but this has so much more than that. This has become one product that can give you inspiration in that melodic or harmony department, or just compositional inspiration department, like the other tools do, like Symphonic Destruction or Novo or Forzo or Bento. This is just one of those, but just far more. So although the price tag isn't anything to scoff at, it's not, it's definitely a tool that costs money. Contextualizing that with the offering, it is ridiculously good. So yeah, strongly recommend, and actually can't wait to put this to use and see how I can integrate this to the soundtrack that I'm still currently working on, luckily, because I think this is gonna amp up some of the things that we're doing with that. But let me know what you think. If you have this already, if you straight up grabbed it, like I'm sure many people will. Remember to utilize your potential discounts that you get with having something from the Gravity lineup from before. And obviously there's the intro pricing as well. So let me know what you think as you play this yourself. And obviously let me know what you think about this demo review. I'd love to hear from you. But and again, thanks to Heavyocity for sending this over. It certainly was a pleasure, as always. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Finish.